I've been using the Elgato Prompter for about 100 days now, following a new software update, and I know you're dying to know, is it still as bad as it was when I first reviewed it? Hands up, I've got a confession to make. When I posted my initial review of the Elgato Prompter, I was having a really bad day. And maybe I took it out a teeny tiny bit on that product when I said some stuff like, and I'm not exaggerating when I say that some of these have made me want to rip my face off with sheer frustration. Oh, the software that runs this. I'd actually go as far to say it's downright bad. And I promise you, it's pot luck as to whether this works or not every time I plug this in. It should definitely be shipping with software that works better than a chocolate fire guard. Yeah, well, the dust has settled a bit and I'm back with an update, as promised. We'll look at some of the good stuff that's changed with the new software update and why I'd still have some reservations about recommending this product. Right, so let's get some of the good stuff out of the way first. So the latest software release for Elgato Camera Hub, which is what runs this thing, comes with some really handy fixes. First of all, you can now switch the display off and adjust brightness. And if you're using a Windows machine, you can also adjust contrast. Now, if we look further down though, the content tab is actually quite different. Now, finally, you can upload multiple scripts and you can store and work on and format these different scripts in the app, which works so much better. Now, in the text window here, the biggest update, let me just paste in a script. Now before, if I pasted in a script that I'd written, it'd just dump it into one massive chapter, and then I'd have to break it up myself, which took so much time. After the update, this actually splits up the text fairly intelligently. It'll actually give you a new chapter every time it sees a new paragraph mark. So you still get big blocks, but it's nowhere near as annoying as before. And you can drag and drop chapters around now, and then also quickly split up a chunky chapter by pressing Shift and Enter. Now, another new feature is being able to add an overlay like a crosshair or actually anything you want, including your own custom icon. Now this is a new feature which shows you where the camera lens is. Again, this is a really neat way of making sure you're looking directly at your audience at all times. You can change the color and the opacity and then also place it on the screen with pretty fine control here with this window. Now it shows up if you're on a Zoom call in display mode too, which is quite nice, not just in teleprompter mode. Now, so far, so good, but there are still some strange things going on here now. Now, broadly, my biggest gripe with this device is still the same. It is great hardware, but the software just doesn't seem like it's cut out for a proper teleprompter experience, which is odd for a device called the Prompter. Now, to me, it seems far more likely that Elgato actually designed this primarily for streamers who are wanting to use a device like this to check things like comments and chat when you're in a streaming video session. And for that, as far as I can tell, it seems to work pretty great. Now, I wouldn't really know because I'm a millennial. I don't really get involved in that stuff. Now, on top of that, there are 3 issues which are holding me back from saying something like, hey everyone, they fixed this, it's a must buy, go and get it now. Firstly, and weirdly, they did allow for dictation here in the latest software app. Now this is fine, but it does highlight that something like voice tracking is sorely needed. That's actually what I thought would happen when I pressed this button. Now for this reason, and the fact that the prompter isn't, well, a great teleprompter, my advice would be if you're thinking about buying this, go for it. But if you're using it for a teleprompter, use a separate app like SpeakFlow. Now this actually will advance based on your voice rather than at a set controlled speed. So you can speak more naturally, you can slow down when you want, you can speed up, and the app will just go with you. Now I've been really impressed with this combination of prompter together with SpeakFlow, but I know it's just another subscription on top of it all, which hurts a bit. And the good news is they do have a free version of the app which includes the voice tracking, so if you want to check it out, I popped a link down in the description. Let me know how you get on if you try it out. Now, secondly, you can increase the size of the text in the edit window now, but I do think being able to format text would also be really great. Now, sometimes it's just nice to be able to do this, to remind yourself to emphasize a particular word or maybe place a certain intonation or stress on some of your sentences. It's exactly the sort of thing that Ron Burgundy would have really made good use of.
I'm Ron Burgundy?
Yeah, but sadly, it's just not here in the software update anyway. Thirdly, connecting is still a bit of a pain. It's definitely better than it was, but still a bit hit and miss as to whether this thing will switch on when I plug it in. I don't know what I'm doing wrong here, but I'm just using the supplied cable. I have got to run it through a dock because my Mac only has USB-C ports, but I've tried connecting it directly into my Mac using a USB-C to USB-C cable, and it's still really temperamental. Now, everything is running the latest software now, so there's clearly something not right here. If you've got any fixes or hacks for this kind of problem, just let me know. Folks, I hope this was helpful as a follow-up and has been useful if you're thinking about buying one of these for yourself. Now, if you enjoyed this, you're probably in the process of leveling up some form of content, and the number one thing that can improve yours isn't a teleprompter, it's actually a decent microphone. I reviewed a whole bunch of excellent budget mics a little while ago, and you can check them out for yourself just up here. I'll see you next time.